Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first Champions League finalists in Inter Milan. They have beaten the mighty Barcelona by 4 goals to 3, 7-6 on aggregate. And we're going to go into a post-match analysis. If you like this video, subscribe, share, comment, and let's get into it. This game was one of the best I've ever watched. It is one of the best games I've ever watched as a football fan. Seeing the team score back and forth, goals at one end, goals at another end, teams coming back, tying the game, then leading, then tying the game, and then finding the winner. That was a wonderful display of football at its finest with the highest quality. And I have to tip my hat off, Tip my hat off to both teams who played phenomenal football over 2 times. Not just the second leg, but also the first leg. And to my surprise, it's more shocking seeing Inter Milan score 7 goals. I'm not saying that, they're not a goal-scoring team, but I thought with how they attack, the kind of defense or the form that they're in, particularly defensively, I thought that it would have been a huge task, but hats off to them. So let's just talk about it. So the first half of the second leg, totally dominant by Inter Milan. They were right up on the toes of Barcelona, pressing well, getting into the faces of the Barcelona. And the first goal by Lautaro Martinez was pretty much how you counter press, how you press high. You get the ball, you press them, you win the ball back, then you find an open man, you score the goal 1-0. And then from there on, it was just probably like an emotional roller coaster in terms of our emotional wave of how Inter Milan really began to really press Barcelona, getting into the faces even more. Leading now into the second goal, which I thought was a bit controversial when I saw the tackle, but looking at the replay at multiple angles, which I thought was very good. Hats off to the VAR. It was a penalty. Close, but still a penalty. And then at 2-0, we're thinking, all right, this could be like a little bit too much for Barcelona. Going into the halftime, Hansi Flick doing what he does, inspiring his team, and they come out firing. They came out the blocks in the second half, firing Barcelona. And in the 54th minute, wonderful play, getting in the cross. By the way, I think that was also a very good tactic by Hansi Flick, getting as much crosses on the left side, right side of Inter, left side of Barcelona, getting in the crosses and seeing how best Inter Milan are able to deal with those shots. And right less than 10 minutes into the second half, Barcelona scores by Eric Garcia. Very good goal, right? Then now you saw the momentum shift into Barcelona now getting on the ball. Lamine Yamal, such a talent. It's crazy that he's just only 17. That's the weirdest thing. He's only 17 and he's doing this. And he took over the second half entirely, which led to the second goal that was scored. I think it was, who was it? I don't remember who scored. I think it was another cross that came in. And with the cross coming in, getting 2 assists from I forgot the player from Barcelona, forgive me, getting in that cross again, causing issues for Inter's backline. Goal number 2, it's all square. And then from there on out, it was total dominance from Barcelona in the second half, particularly in the middle of the field. The pitch became so wide, so big. Barcelona were stretching. Rafinha was stretching on the left side. There were times where 2, often 3 Inter Milan players were marking Lamine Yamal in that game, and you saw his talent on display. This was just epic. A friend of mine was saying like, this is like prime Messi. A little bit too much, but prime Messi. But you saw where Barcelona just began just going at it. In the first half of the second half, it was completely Barcelona. Inter Milan had no response, not one, until the 81st minute of the second half. Inter Milan got their first shot at goal. Can you believe that? Their first shot at Inter Milan. But before they even could blink twice and say, this is going to be an issue, or they're saying that, maybe the momentum might shift, Barcelona hits them with another goal, which I thought was a very good goal from Rafinha, hitting, off the rebound from Sommer, which we'll get into. I think Inter Milan's goalkeeper Sommer was really good. man of the match, clearly. And they scored. Inter Milan came back now, began to get into the game now, looking for an equalizer. And of course, later down, they got it. And Sommer keeping them in the game with, I think, was one of the saves of the game where I think Barcelona on the counter from a corner, and it was Lamal, it was Mia. And then, coming into it, Fermin Lopez came onto the pitch, and for whatever reason, it was an empty goal, and Fermin Lopez said, you know what, I'm going to fluff my kick and probably hit it right back to the goalkeeper. But you still have to save it. It was. And hats off to Sommer again. But that save kept Inter in the game. And right before the death, Inter Milan scores the equalizer. Shirts off, jersey off. The place is totally rocked. Everybody's happy to see, jumping up and down. And the game is at 3-3. And this is where the magic of football happens, especially when you have a stadium that has the repetition that it has of the impossible being possible in the San Siro. But it was just a great game. The game came alive. Inter Milan scoring the equalizer. Now all hell breaks loose. And now we have extra time. And listen, if one thing I know, and which was evident from Inzaghi's team, because yellow cards were flying, not just only at players, especially at the bench. Barcelona had players being booked. Management team were being booked. Everyone was getting booked. But the thing I love about Inzaghi, more than Flick in terms of what he does with his team, it shows the passion. He wants his team to go beyond just themselves, go beyond their limitations. Reminding them, of course, this is the same Inter Milan team that 2 years ago were in the final with Man City. And now he's asking them to go that extra mile. And the extra mile they did, getting that goal from Asuri, or Atsuri. Don't forgive me if I'm butchering the names. I did watch the game. And so composed, getting the ball was a good cross. Thuram laying it off. Don't remember who the person that laid it off, that Suri. And with the composure that he had, slots the ball in the back of the net. 4-3, 7-6 on aggregate. You would think that you wash your hands, game's over. Not really. And this is where I talk about Sommer. Sommer came in and was absolutely fantastic. Save after save, particularly the last shot. We don't know how. I think it's just the I would have said the Inzaghi impression, the Inzaghi charisma, the Inzaghi motivation that he made a save out of nowhere. You expect the ball in the back of the net. If you're at that angle, of course he's going for a post. More often than not, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10, that is in the back of the net. And for some reason, the football god said, you know what? I'm going to ensure that Sommer has one of the greatest games of his life. And that he did. And from there, it was really back and forth. I don't know how to put it into words. I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the aggregate. I'm shocked at everything. It was great tie with them and Barcelona. I saw one of my friends said that, we didn't know that the Inter Milan and Barcelona match was the one that we needed for football to fall in love with football again. And that it did. Henry was saying that in his post-match interview, post-match analysis, saying that he was, tired of the boring football, persons have to defend deep, and then persons can be too attacking if it's open, but sometimes you just need that quality. And I'm more shocked at the fact that Inter Milan scored 7 goals over 2 legs than Barcelona scoring 6. I think that's what surprised me the most. But what a tie, what a game. If Inter Milan going to the final, if PSG, whoever the winner is in PSG Arsenal game, they're going to have their hands so full in terms of how Inter Milan plays, in terms of the grit and determination. You saw Italian football at its finest in terms of giving out results, in terms of getting into the face of their opponents, in terms of how you're going to press, in terms of tackling, in terms of defending. You saw and felt Italian football. You saw that version of Italian football on display. And hey, if Inter Milan wins, they deserve it more than anything. I had Barcelona between the 4 to win, but now that they're out, it's up for everybody. And for tomorrow again, PSG Arsenal tomorrow, it's going to be a very close tie. I don't think it's going to be like this. I would hope it does, but I don't think it's going to be like this. But I enjoyed every part of it. Yamal was just I was watching him play today, and it brought me back to like childhood days of watching, like, Ronaldinho, person with that individual brilliance and quality that can, and a bit of street to put it into a semi-final like this. It warms my heart. It really does. But, congrats Inter Milan. Congrats to them for winning the tie. You guys deserve every bit of it. You can celebrate in Milan. Barcelona is really unfortunate, in terms of dropping out. But if someone had to do it, someone had to go. But guys, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's have a conversation. What was your experience and feel with the entire tie, with how Inter Milan and Barcelona played? Let me hear it in the comments. I'm definitely going to respond. But until next time, peace.